Dakar, Senegal, September 15, 2020. This was it. After 25 years of struggle, I was finally leaving my native Senegal, heading for the great France of Emmanuel Macron. Farewell, Macky Sall, but before I left, there was one last thing I had to do: savor my dear mother's chep. That fragrant rice dish, with its secret blend of smoked fish from Lake Redba, perfectly green cabbage, and tender cassava, was a taste of home that only she could create. Mat Ada, as we called her, was my late father's third wife, and in my eyes, the most beautiful. She was a wonderfully gentle woman who raised 4 children, including me. I found her in the kitchen, and thank goodness, the meal was ready. I've always hated the cooking part, and waiting for my mother's long culinary ritual was even worse. Sometimes it took 3, even 4 hours. She was a perfectionist. The rice was washed again and again until the water ran crystal clear. The smoked fish, she'd meticulously remove every bit of skin and bone, rinse the pieces, salt them lightly, and then boil them to perfection. The cabbage and cassava got the same treatment, cleaned separately with hot water before being mixed in the largest pot. They cooked for ages because she loved a cassava soft, soaking up all the flavor from the cabbage juice. My daughter, eat well before you leave for France tomorrow, Mat Ada said, handing me a plate piled high with Senegalese rice. Over there, chap is rare, and if you do find it, it'll cost you. And God knows you don't have much money. Thank you, Mama, I replied, taking the enormous plate. I settled at our little table in the courtyard, a few bites in, and I was already full. I always took the biggest plate, but I was never a big eater. Usually, I couldn't finish, which always upset my mother. She had a deep respect for food after all the hardships she'd faced. I'd normally give my leftovers to my little brother Baba, or save them for him if he wasn't around. But this time, with my mind already racing ahead to Paris, I completely forgot. I left the leftover chep unwrapped. Suddenly, I remembered I still had to pack. Time was slipping away. I had less than 20 hours left in the land of my ancestors. I jumped up from my chair, leaving more than half of my meal to the flies and ants. I ran to my room, a chaotic mess of my own making, and started cramming my new belongings into my travel bags. My new life was waiting, but as I packed, I had no idea that this simple, forgotten plate of chep was the last taste of my old life, and that a future I could never have imagined was about to begin. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part of the story.